I don't want to get up. My scheduled 8 hours of sleep turned into 7, maybe even 6, as I spent the first couple hours in bed tossing and turning. I'm up now, but only because the internal clock inside my head is going off. I want to stay in bed, to shut my eyes and go back to dreamland. The blankets are warm and my pillow is soft. My blackout curtains trick my mind into thinking it's still dark out. But I know that I have to go, because I've got commitments that can't be changed. I roll out of bed and fall onto the floor, making this the most dramatic wake-up of my career. All excuses on why I could call in flood my room, and soon enough I'm drowning in them, unable to move. But as I pull my phone off the charger, I see the time, and my room starts to drain. Any excuses I have quickly wash away. There's no more time to think. I just have to go. Excuses out the way, I'll have to take my breakfast on the go. I throw myself into the shower and let the cold water wake me up. I'm shaking uncontrollably as my heart rate enters zone 2. I slowly control my breathing and begin to enter an altered state. My mind is empty and my thoughts are clear. I'm beginning to feel a sense of happiness flow through the air. I shut off the water and look my body in the mirror, smiling at the fact I'm happy with what appears. As I get dressed for the day, the only thing I can think of is how amazing today is going to be. Positive thoughts are the only thing I let in as I drive my way to work with my windows down, air drying my shaved head. As I slowly get situated at work, the day starts flowing. It's a bit busier than usual, especially for a Wednesday. I work in the trenches at work, a poorly lit back room to a stadium-sized store. It makes you wish people appreciated you more. For all the bullshit this dimly lit room offers, there's opportunities to turn your suffering into something. It's a testament to your grit, to your strength and resilience. They say if you can make it in the trenches, you can make it anywhere. I'm approaching half a year in the trenches, and I'm a thriver. I've made something of nothing. You deal with more bullshit than you could possibly imagine back here. People look back on this room and don't understand the shit it breathes. They say after 6 months you can escape, move to the outside, and to thrive. Today was a fantastic day, as I write my journal entry for Wednesday, December 7th. It's crazy that if I called off, how much I would have missed in the day. How would that have affected my next week, or 2 weeks, or month? I've called off before and things took a while to normalize afterwards. When you put a knife in your schedule and go off the beaten path, there's no promises it'll work out in your favor. It's actually more likely to go against you in the future. More often than not, getting out of bed is one of the hardest things we do each day. To start your day and to win the morning can mean so much more than people think. I'm not going to give you some magical morning routine to follow for the ultimate success recipe, because that shit is individualized, and I personally don't think my morning routine is anything to brag about, let alone recommend. Wednesday was the first time, in a long time, where I struggled to get out of bed. Most of the time I'm ready to tackle the day at hand, but again, I'm not perfect. There's this quote by Marcus Aurelius, that someone's got to imprint on my ceiling for me, because reading it would definitely be the key to unlocking my body from my bed in the morning. The quote goes, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work as a human being. What do I have to complain of if I'm going to do what I was born for? The things I was brought into the world to do? Or is this what I was created for? To huddle under the blankets and stay warm?" And this is Marcus talking to himself. So you were born to feel nice, instead of doing things and experiencing them. Don't you see the plants, the birds, the ants, and the spiders, and the bees going about their individual tasks, putting the world in order as best they can? And you're not willing to do your job as a human being? Why aren't you running to do what your nature demands? It's such a slap in the face. It's like, get the fuck out of bed. You didn't win the human lottery to spend all your time being comfortable under the covers. I personally love messages like this, as this relates to many other things in life, not just getting out of bed in the morning. It's related to anything that gives you some resistance. A lot of the times with this podcast, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. There's this resistance to sit down and let my thoughts flow, especially when I first started doing it. I had no structure around it. I would just say what was on my mind. Now that I've been doing this for almost 2 years, the resistance is still there, but it's not as scary anymore. It's like my brain knows I can do it. Seeing I've been doing this for almost 2 years and I'm 100 episodes in, I've gained this confidence that I can create something special each week. I don't want to go too far off the path here, but since we're on the subject of my podcast, I want to give you some more insight towards me. Resistance has played a big part with me in this podcast. Not just creating it, but also listening to it. Especially listening to my published episodes. I finally, after 60 episodes, I finally started listening to the final product on Spotify. Now, I'm the only one that works on this show, so I'm editing it all and giving it a listen throughs before I publish it, but there's something different about listening to it when I'm still editing it versus listening to it as the final product on Spotify. Most of the time, I never want to listen to the final product, especially if it's like a week after I published it, because most of the time, I'll hear something that doesn't make sense, or something that I would change, but I can't do anything about it. It can really impact me. I want the best out of this show, and to produce anything less, to say things that don't come across completely coherent, is to fail as an educator, or whatever you want to call me. This is just a part of life. There's always going to be times in your life where you said something that you wish you didn't, or did something you wish you could rewind and take back. You can't focus too much on those things because they're in the past. What you must do is recognize the things you said or did that you wish you didn't do, and make a commitment to yourself to do better next time. It's going to come with some resistance though. It's not exactly the easiest thing to accomplish. See, your brain may be hardwired to do the things you wish you didn't do, or you may not even know you did anything wrong until someone mentions something to you. That's when the real work begins. That's the inner work so many people just can't seem to accomplish. Mainly because it's hard fucking work. Just like waking up in the morning when everything is telling you to call off and sleep in. Changing your behavior is the same thing. It's been rooted in you for years and years. But simply fighting those urges every day and apologizing when you realize you let the enemy inside you win is to grow and evolve. To conquer resistance every day is to win life. Most of us will fail often and consistently. But as long as you're aware of the fact that you're working on beating that resistance in you, then you will come out on top in the long run. Some days the resistance will win. Some days you'll get the upper hand. The more often you conquer the resistance, the more often you will conquer it in the future. To have more days out of the week where you beat the resistance than the resistance beat you is to win. That's the definition of success. You will never fail at life if you never quit, if you keep on the path of self-improvement and not let resistance keep you down. Each person is on their own path, and some paths are a bit more rockier than the others. Compare yourself to no one else but you. You're on your own path, and to compare yourself to anyone else would be completely illogical and dumb. No one else is you. No one else has had the experiences you have. You are unique, and maybe right now, you've let the resistance win most of your life. That's okay. Recognize that, and start working today to not let that resistance keep getting the upper hand. Get a couple wins under your belt. Watch the resistance inside you suffer. Watch it suffocate under your ability to conquer the tasks you've laid out before it. Watch it scream to try to gain some attention. Watch it cry as you smash it in the fucking face. You are stronger than the resistance inside your mind. Start fucking acting like it. 2023 is going to be your year. Don't let anyone, especially yourself, tell you any different. And yeah, I guess you could say I'm glad I went to work yesterday, as I accomplished a lot on my plate. I guess you could say if I never went to work, resistance would have conquered that day. but I'm writing this podcast because I won. I made Wednesday a fantastic day, and it all started with smashing Resistance in the fucking face.